Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here today at the Psychology Research Day. I'm very conscious that I seem to have three hats on. One is that I'm a science reference specialist in the reading room at the British Library, and psychology comes within our remit. Secondly, I represent as chair of the London Psychology Librarians Group, and would encourage you to go to the stand next door and pick up some leaflets for both what the British Library is doing and also the psychology group. Equally, I have a role to play in the CPD 25 group, which also has a stall in the other room, and unfortunately I cannot join you in the afternoon because I'm running a workshop on digital scholarship, so I'm going to have to dash away. But if you go to the stall that has my details and my card, I'm very happy to take any questions by email. So that's all I need to say about that. So this is really, the purpose of this talk is to encourage you basically to come along. We are a national library. Registration and admission is so much easier than it might have been a few years ago. There's no formality needed, except for bringing along an ID. There are a number of relevant reading rooms, a whole series of e-resources, and there's currently a number of research services being developed. So it's worth keeping a note on what the website's doing and also checking the science blog and our events. We are the second largest library in the world, and I have to remind you that we are literally on your doorstep. We are very friendly, we will not bite, so do come along, and we have become quite a hangout zone. So you can come and have coffee, there's seating where you don't need to have a reader's pass, and there's a nice series of events that are available. And one should also say that not only does most people know that we have copyright books under legal copyright deposit, but in 2013 this was extended to electronic media, so there are archived websites and also e-books from publishers. So reader registration is really quite straightforward, but you do need to bring some form of ID, a bill, a passport or a driving license. There's help at the welcome team, and I would suggest that you plan ahead with your psychology research, because unfortunately the collections are very scattered within the different reading rooms and the different collections. And of course we are a dual site library, so we're based in London, but also most of our material is stored in Boston Spa, so some of it can take a short time to come up from the basements, and some of it will take 2 days, just to make you aware of that. So I wanted to make a distinction between membership and readership. We launched a membership arrangement which costs about £80, which is competitively okay for London, I suppose. And then you have lounge areas and a bar and sort of enhanced facilities. But the point is that the reader registration is completely free, and that gives you the registration gives you access to all the reading rooms, and there's about 11 reading rooms there. That's all I want to say about that. So psychology itself is scattered mainly between 3 reading rooms. So the science reading rooms where I work, you will find clinical psychology, neurology, psychiatry, the kind of medically based topics. If you move into educational and social psychology, you would go to the social science reading rooms, which is not far away. And if you're interested in the history of science and the history of psychology itself, as recently with the history of women in psychology being celebrated, that would be in the humanities reading room. All reading rooms have open stock. The science reading rooms has 10 years worth of material, but all the rest will be in storage and need to be ordered. I know it's a cardinal sin to fill up a slide with text, but this gives a outline of the kind of e-resources that we have. So all the things you would expect from medicine and psychology. We do not have everything, and I know that a lot of higher education universities may have other specialised resources. So have a look at what we've got. If that's useful, fine, and your local library may indeed have something more. So we don't always have everything, but we certainly have a very wide range of things you would expect. I mean, the main ones are obviously PsycInfo and PsycExtra. Originally, I named this talk and wanted to speak a little bit about our research strategy. There is currently some major restructurings and reorganisations going on between reference and research services. I think we may have to wait another year or so before they bed in and complete themselves. But you probably are aware and use Ethos, for example. Well, that's going to be upgraded onto another platform. And as the upgrade happens, there are ideas around offering research data repository services. Higher education is quite well provisioned for research data repositories, whereas the GLAM sector, galleries, libraries, archives and museums, is not, as is the public sector, is not well provisioned for collecting and archiving research data. And this is an area that the British Library wants to specialise in the future. If you're in HE, you're probably going to be quite okay. And to remind people, it is easy to get into, it is friendly, you shouldn't be overawed by it. We want you to use the reference specialists, and you can have one-to-one sessions to help navigate around the collections. There's an awful amount of a wealth of resources there, but people sometimes shy away from grappling with it. But we are there to help. And if you go onto the website, there's a question point and chat service, so do give it a go. And finally, there are developments happening at the back of St Pancras, and not only do we have the Turing Institute within the building at the moment, but in the next few years it will have its own building that will be located at the back of the building. I'm quite happy to answer any questions, and if you want to contact me, just go to our stall and talk to one of our staff, and they'll be happy to help you.